It is training camp eve. That's right. Make sure to leave out your milk and cookies for us. Cecil Lammy, Andrew Mason, day 2 acclimation period over, Mason. We've got some chemistry to talk about.
I hope everybody's acclimated. I mean, hope 2 days was enough. Basically, the only real differences between Wednesday and Thursday were they had one more team period today than they did yesterday. They did field goals and kickoffs in the special teams period instead of punts as they did on Wednesday. And Cortland Sutton caught a pass in 7-on-7. He didn't catch one yesterday. And Mike McGlinchey was out there yesterday, and he wasn't out there today. But like Sean Payton said, there are 3 baskets of players in terms of guys that are going to have their,
by the way.
Maybe buckets, or not baskets, buckets. I need to get like buckets, like 3 buckets as props. Because
it makes so much sense.
Yeah, the veteran bucket, the players returning from injury bucket, and then the players with injury history bucket. And in each bucket are, different guys. Frankly, there are some guys who you could say probably qualify in 2 buckets. Mike McGlinchey might be a guy who is a 2 bucket guy because he's an 8-year veteran, but he's also somebody who does have a reasonably lengthy injury history. He, of course, had a stint on IR last year, and he's had some IR stints before.
Yes. So we are here to talk about day 2 of acclimation. Again, Mase was out there. Thank you, Mase. Mase was out there. I will be out there broadcasting tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be out there Saturday. We will have a show at some point on Saturday. We'll figure out what time.
Yeah.
Just kind of feel it out. What do we feel like? And, hey, it's on. It's here. Training camp is here. But acclimation days, plural, have included Nix, Evan Engram. This thing looks, to quote Brandon Stokely, special.
I didn't know. That's a Stoke quote. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, when something's more than special, he just says it twice. Maybe it's a Cajun thing. I don't know. It's special. You're Mase.
As opposed to like extra special or
right.
extraordinarily special or,
special squared.
Yeah.
Special times 2.
Special.
Yes.
It looked good. Like there was a play today. And okay, we're not talking about the most extraordinary play. We're talking about a little slant route over the middle. But it's the kind of route that you see from the quote unquote joker target to which Sean Payton often refers. He sees the coverage. There's a pass rush coming in. Bo gets the ball out quickly. He reads it, quickly gets it away. Engram has a head of steam. The ball is out in front of Engram. It hits him in stride. There's an opportunity for yardage after the catch. It was one of those moments where you watched it, and I think all of us looking at it from a distance, they were on the far field today from where we were standing. So it was get out the binoculars day. And you always have to come armed with binoculars if you're going to go out to.
I'll remember mine for tomorrow. Thank you.
Do not forget your binoculars. And A, in case they're on the side, the field on the other side. But B, you should always bring your binoculars anyway, because they might be at the other end. Where you are, the radio tents, if you want to watch the O-line drills early in practice, you got to get out the binoculars anyhow. So it was one of those moments where it's like, okay, this is how it's supposed to work. This is the pieces of the offense coming together. This is Sean Payton having the ingredients he needs to now make the meal he really wants to make. That the last couple of years, he's made do with the ingredients that he had in his pantry. He had a few more ingredients last year, getting Bo Nix in there as opposed to Russell Wilson. But now he's actually got enough in his pantry, enough in the fridge to really start making that gourmet meal he truly wants to serve. Now, I mean, like a lot of the great chefs in New Orleans, that city that he loves so much, and I'm sure he's had so many great meals with those world-renowned chefs down there. Now he can put together that kind of unforgettable dining experience.
Yes. It goes from college and using ramen and tater tots to gourmet. What do you want?
It's time to start having that French Laundry kind of meal.
Yes. And for me, Mase, it goes back to, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it if you don't want to, but the comments and yesterday and the question of like, what about the sophomore slump? And what about, and I've heard people, on social networking saying, well, they've got film on him. Bo's got film on him too. Bo's got film on them.
Yeah.
And this is Bo with more weapons. This is Bo with a running game. This is Bo with the tight end. So I don't want to hear any of that. Well, they got film on him and it's a sophomore slump. And okay. And I understand it was our buddy Parker Gabriel who asked. This isn't about Parker. We love Parker. Like love. He's filled in for me on this show. Very few people have filled in on this show by design.
He filled in well. No offense.
He's awesome. He's incredible. Yeah. So it's not about him. This isn't about him. But it's like, okay, we got to stop with this whole, they've got film. Bo's got film. And the film they have is the old Bo with nobody around him except Court.
Court and then Marvin.
Marvin eventually, yes.
It was the second half of last season when you put Marvin in there, then you're adding another weapon. And okay, we're starting to see some dynamic elements. But you didn't have the running game there where you need it to be. You had, really, the most effective running back you had last year was somebody who unfortunately was ill-suited to every down work. And that was Jaleel McLaughlin because he just doesn't have the body type for that. Jaleel is gadget, you touches a game, used situationally. So now hopefully Jaleel gets into a role that's actually perfectly suited for him. But they had to use him more because Javonte Williams was mostly a sub 4 yards per carry guy, and Audric Estime lost the trust because he kept putting the ball on the ground. It was a lack, Jaleel was basically the guy they trusted more, except in pass pro. And then if it's pass pro time, you'd put Javonte out there. It was out of necessity, right? Well, now, okay, you look back there and there's a guy that you drafted. So he's there with intent to develop. And then you have J.K. Dobbins, who you bring in with some experience, someone who can lead the way. Someone who knows what he's doing that back there, can be a stable influence, can show the young guys a thing or two.
Yeah.
Maybe he can help Audric Estime get back on the path where you want him to go. And hey, the ideal situation here, Cease, is Audric Estime, who still is young. He turns 22 this year. The ideal situation is RJ Harvey develops, and then Audric Estime or Blake Watson, one of those two, under the wing of J.K. Dobbins, gets to be that second running back. Either one of them. You got 2 tickets. You need one of them to hit. And then you're in great shape.
That's the plan. And as Hans Gruber said, don't alter the plan. Yeah. And think of this, Mase. Think of the play action elements that you have with Evan Engram. The things that you've seen in 2 days of acclimation, these are the tip of the iceberg. Because when we get to joint practices, and you will be in Santa Clara, and then another joint practice against Arizona, when we get to these and you're seeing more of the preseason, the play action into the regular season, your running backs are going to help out Engram because now it's play action. Oh, there's Engram with an easy pitch and catch. It's not just the seam stuff. That's old Engram young Engram technically. This Engram can be that play action, boom, move the chains guy every time.
Play action, move the chains, catching the ball within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and then getting a few more yards after that, quickly getting the ball out. I mean, you look at that average per catch last year in Jacksonville. I mean, he's become a guy, a lot of his targets are within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. That's just who he is at this point. That's okay. The Broncos did not sign Evan Engram for who he was with the Giants in 2017. I feel like I'm going into Moneyball when they're talking about David Justice. They didn't sign Evan Engram for who he was when the Giants came into Denver in 2017 and he's ripping them up downfield. They signed Evan Engram for who he is today. And if Engram ends up at the end of the season with 65 catches for 620 yards, frankly, I think they're going to be ecstatic with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And somebody in the chat room earlier, forgive me, I didn't see it, but they were like, expecting like Julius Thomas numbers. No. I've got him projected for 69 catches, about 700 yards, and 3-4 touchdowns. You know what I mean? That's very reasonable. And if he does more than that and pushes, 800-900 yards, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But this is who Evan Engram is today.
He is here to bridge a gap to what you hope is a longer term answer, whether it is developing Caleb Lohner or finding a younger tight end through perhaps a future draft. I think ideally you get a good season out of Evan Engram, and then at the end of the year you see where Lohner is, you evaluate his progress and decide, okay, could he do this Jimmy Graham thing? Could he reach that? Or is his ceiling a bit lower and perhaps you fish for a tight end in next year's draft? You look at a Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon, for example. I think that's maybe what you're looking at. And Engram, one more year on his contract, kind of plays that out, and then you pass the baton to a longer term solution as that interior target tight end position joker that Sean Payton often speaks of.
Mm-hmm. And then you have a young tight end who can be that seam ripper.
Yeah.
So once again, the wrinkles will be different as Bo Nix develops and this offense develops. You mentioned Sean Payton and cooking. He gets to make these great recipes and then change them up a little, add a little bit different ingredients, which personally, I don't know if you love to cook, Mase, like I love to cook, but like I love experimenting with my stomach.
The experimenting in this kitchen is Marvin Mims Jr.
Mm-hmm. That's the secret sauce right there.
That's the ingredient he didn't have in New Orleans. That's where you start kind of expanding and saying, oh, I want to try something new here. I don't want to play my greatest hits. I want to expand. I want to test and see what the audience likes. I want to actually try to push the envelope a little bit here. Test the bounds. That's where it gets interesting. And then all of a sudden you're forcing opponents to throw out the book on you, as it were, because right now, when teams get ready for the Broncos and they've got their lower level assistants going through all of the film, it's not just Broncos film they go through looking for tendencies. They still go back through Saints film. I mean, the amount of film that teams go through when they're looking for tendencies and traits and trying to figure out where patterns are and how to and how to identify something and maybe catch an opponent off guard. I mean, it's more than, put it this way, it's more than just the last 3 or 4 games. It's pretty extensive.
Exhaustive.
Yeah. And if you've got elements that really didn't exist, and then all of a sudden you're pushing boundaries and going beyond previous paradigms, then all that other stuff they're going through, all that time they're spending on that old film, you're wasting their time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're rendering a lot of their work useless.
Yep.
Advantage Broncos when you do that.
And that's where Mims comes in, because the way you can place him, he could take handoffs again.
Yes.
Maybe 5 times the whole season, but you have to now prepare for that. You're now taking 30 minutes of your work week, whatever the number is, and preparing for Marvin Mims as a running back. Just because he's done it doesn't mean they're going to do it or do it that much at all. But that's what those type of assets bring to the field.
Well, the intentionality of getting him the ball to get him going last year, what that does is when he goes into the backfield, as you say, declaration of influence, he goes in the backfield, everybody takes notice. It was sort of like the year before when Jaleel McLaughlin checked in, and unfortunately, there was a tendency that developed. He was out there, and it was a 70% chance that he was either the target or receiving the handoff. And his effectiveness decreased because teams caught on to that trend and adapted accordingly. 38's in, there's a better than average chance 38's getting the ball. It's a 38 special, and they knew it. I always say, if a couple of chuckleheads like you and me can figure it out, then in the offices of the Chiefs and the Bills and other teams, they figured it out.
Yeah.
So you've made them think about that, but then if they're reacting to seeing Mims in the backfield and they're shading over to him, there's an open territory somewhere else. It's not, it's a zero-sum game. I mean, it's not like you're moving somebody over and all of a sudden you can, bring a 12th guy in. This isn't the CFL. Like the beauty of this sport is if you go heavy somewhere else, you're going to be you're exposed somewhere else.
Yes.
And on any play, no matter what you do defensively, there's always a soft spot. You just have to find it.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Before we hear from Talanoa Hufanga and Quinn Miners, let's hear a word from our sponsor.
Today's episode of Orange and Blue Today is presented by Ramos Law, the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Ramos Law was founded by Dr. Joseph Ramos, an attorney and ER doctor, to provide exceptional care to those injured in accidents. With a unique understanding of both medicine and law, the Ramos Law team is built to fight for you every step of the way. Experience the Ramos Law difference. Contact them today at ramoslaw.com.
I liked what Talanoa Hufanga said about Bo Nix, because there's so much misinformation and just wrong-headed opinions on Bo Nix. When teammates and veterans like Hufanga say what he said today, Mase, everybody's got to pay attention.
Yeah, and to set this up, this was a pretty open-ended question. I asked him about what kind of stress Bo Nix puts on a defense from a safety's perspective. The question I asked last year about Bo Nix from the perspective of defenders during training camp to sort of try to get a feel of what he was doing well. It actually provided some of the more illuminating perspectives as far as what Bo Nix was already doing well in training camp. And some of those responses really provided a harbinger of what we would eventually see as he developed and blossomed during the season. So I admit it's one of my standard stock questions to ask. I'll probably go back to that with other guys in training camp to sort of ask, okay, how has he progressed? So I wanted to find out just kind of what he's seen from Bo going against him. And I thought the answer was pretty revealing.
First and foremost, I think he's just a smart player. But then it's like, okay, you get on the field and you see how accurate he is, what kind of arm he has. I think that kind of especially the first day of OTAs. Like, first ball was over everybody's head, and I was like, wow, like you have to account for those kind of things. And not every game that you play in the NFL, you're going to play a quarterback that can launch it that far. And so for him, he has that ability to just get it over the defense's head, and so that changes your perspective on how to play him. And so far, just see as a teammate that he is, great person, great player, and just seeing how he handles himself in the locker room and the cafeteria and all that, I'm excited to play with him.
Wow. Launch it over your head, and it changes the math. That's what I love about what he said most, Mase, is because now you have to account for route concepts. Guys like Hufanga, they already know the route concept. Okay, here comes this play. Here we go. And they're going to try to get me to do this, and they'll change position. Hufanga is very smart. The math changes when you have a quarterback that can launch it.
The geometry changes. All of a sudden,
Yes.
you have to
Yes.
cover more territory.
Yep. And football is geometry.
Yeah. I mean, think, for example, back in 2020, I'll use the example of Sean Payton's offense that year. Drew Brees coming toward the end of his career, and he was still razor sharp in terms of his short to intermediate accuracy, but the arm strength had waned to the point where the deep shots were pretty much out of the Saints offense for the most part. And it was something that other defenses could exploit a little bit. They didn't have to worry about being beaten over the top in the same way as they had previously. And it wasn't quite as effective of a passing attack as it had been in a lot of the vintage days of that offense. Bo being able to go down the field, certainly that changes that. It makes it exciting. I mean, I'm thinking back to just the second pass yesterday when Bo's going down the seam to the left side, and it's Adam Troutman, and Troutman's got to step on Singleton, and it's a laser, and Troutman makes a great catch. You're beating him over the top. I mean, first of all, you love seeing a non-primary target, a guy that maybe you don't expect to make that play, making that play. The fact that you're involving everybody, that's a good thing. I mean, if you're putting a situation out there where it's pick your poison, and a guy like Troutman is capable of making a play, and that's another thing you like about Troutman is, and we saw that last year, he's not incapable. I hate the double negative, but there is a capability there of him making a play when asked to.
Mm-hmm.
The scheme sets up the opportunities there for him to do something dynamic.
Nate Adkins on those sneaky touchdowns where opposite play side, the flow goes to the right, Adkins blocks and then sneaks out to the left.
Yeah.
There's possibilities there.
I love that play. That's a classic old play that we've seen in offenses going back 30 or 40 years. That's one. It's very similar to a play that the 49ers scored on in Super Bowl 16. Earl Cooper's touchdown is very much in that vein.
Very good.
In the first half. Boy, well, I think we just lost everybody below the age of 50.
40. Let's put it at 40, right?
At least 40, yeah.
Something like that.
Even if you're 40, you don't remember that.
No.
You weren't alive for that. I mean, if you're 50, you probably barely remember that. You could be 50 years old and be 6 or 7 for that game.
I do remember Super Bowl 12 because I am that old, and Tom Jackson's my second favorite player of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I do. I was in kindergarten.
Yeah.
So I do remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, but that everything changes when you can push it down the field like that. And it also busts narratives. I mean, I get sick and tired of hearing about the Bo Nix arm strength. I'm not
terrible.
It's crap. I mean,
yeah.
How many times does he have to go vertical to where people stop saying that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, did you see the pass to Marvin Mims Jr. against Cleveland? Did you see the touchdowns to Mims in the fourth quarter against Cincinnati? There's there's plenty of juice in that arm going downfield. I mean, the notion that he doesn't have requisite arm strength and actually strength to spare is actually pretty silly.
What did Quinn Miners say today? Before I wrap up today's show,
Yeah.
Mace, I did not get to listen to that one yet, so I'll let you be our guide here.
It's actually something, it's less football-ish, more life-ish. Another kind of open-ended question that I asked him was, and it was, sometimes my questions tend to be kind of a little bit off and different. This one, I asked him about being a leader, because last year he talked about struggling with the burdens of being a captain and how it affected him. Remember, while he got going and had a dominant season and was all pro, first couple of weeks he struggled.
Yes.
The burdens of leadership, being a team captain for the first time, were weighing on him. And eventually he settled into that role, found his old groove, and then some. He did talk about wanting to build on that, but what I asked him specifically were about the lessons he learned about leadership in his first season as captain. And I think there's actually lessons that kind of go beyond leadership, maybe something that, frankly, I think we all can learn from. Here's Quinn Miners talking about that.
I think I put too much pressure on myself to almost like fit into a role versus just being myself and being who I am, because that's why I was picked to do that. It was just because of who I am. So I feel a lot less pressure about any of that this year. Who I am is more than good enough, and that was something I struggled with a little bit last year. So yeah, I'm excited to have that mentality moving forward and not having to battle through that.
I love that.
It's internal pressure, yes.
Yeah. Realizing that the guy who was elected captain was him. His authentic self, that he didn't have to try to be anybody else. Didn't have to take on a different mentality. Didn't have to step it up. That who he was the guy that people wanted to be one of the team leaders. And then he relaxed and then played like the Quinn Miners that we all knew and expected. And I mean, that's really cool. But the lesson, I think, for all of us is just kind of, trust who you are. Don't try to be anybody but yourself. Just be authentic. Bo Nix was authentic, is authentic. And that's one of the reasons why teammates responded to him and how he was able to make it his team as the quarterback. He was authentic. He was himself. He was genuine. He respected his elder teammates coming in. He didn't try to be overly enthusiastic. He didn't try to, push. He just was Bo. Quinn, just Quinn. Who you are is good enough. And here's the other thing. If you're not yourself, you're going to get found out pretty quick, and you're going to get exposed. I mean, authenticity. That's actually a big lesson, I think, that we've learned around here, especially, is the value of authenticity.
You're talking about Russell Wilson.
I don't even have to say the name, right? I mean,
I'm just thinking, hey, be authentic, because guys sniff it out.
Yeah.
And God bless Tim Tebow. We have, various memories about covering Tim Tebow, but it's it was him.
That's who he was. That's who he is. I give him credit like that.
He wasn't fake. That's him.
That was Tim. That is Tim. I mean, we talk about, Jarrett Stidham and how, if he has to go in, he's authentic. He was running sprints during during the special teams period, he ran sprints and he came over and there were a few of us reporters and he's just kind of joking with us about how, it's a little harder than it used to be as he's getting older. But like, that's him, that he would just come over in sprints and they just joke with us about it. Like that's totally steady, that he just, and he make a joke at his own expense. That's who he is, right? Like it's why guys respond to him as well. And for better or for worse, this locker room is full of authentic personalities. It's a locker room full of guys that feel comfortable being themselves. So it's one of the reasons why I like this. I like this locker room. Like last year was one of the best locker rooms I've ever been around. Not just because the team won. It was one of the best groups of people I've been around. And because of that authenticity that permeates that room.
Yep. And
Hufanga is an authentic guy too. He fits right in as well with that mindset. And that was it. That answer he gave about Bo Nix. I loved hearing it. And I love the mindset that Quinn Miners has. It's good to see. I'm excited to see where this goes. Excited for the official start of training camp. I know you're excited, Cease, that you finally get to actually see all that I've been talking about the last few months, man. This is another thing. And I was thinking about this last night, like as we've done shows the last few weeks, actually since probably late March, it's had to be more me talking about what I'm seeing even more than usual, just because unfortunately it's only been my eyes and you've had to be back in the studio doing radio. So I'm really excited to get your thoughts as you actually get your eyes on these guys for the first time. I want to get your thoughts on Q Robinson. I mean, even a guy like Andrew Farmer was out there making plays. I mean, the edge depth is just off the chain right now. The pressure they're getting is ridiculous. I want to get your thoughts on the running back competition. I want to see what you think of J.K. Dobbins. I want to get your thoughts on Pat Bryant, because right now, some of these guys, the rookies, you only saw in that one day. I want to get your thoughts on what they do against the veterans as well. So
how do they look now?
Like I'm going to take note of that with great interest, as then Senator Palpatine would say.
Let me look on you with my own eyes. I
had to get a little Star Wars in there at the end.
Yes, always, and forever Star Wars fans. Mase, we are loving the response to OBT. You guys are amazing. Broncos country is very strong. We appreciate the love. You have a lot of choices. The fact that you choose us and you really enjoy our coverage means a lot to both of us. A lot.
Dare I say, choose?
Simpsons, Star Wars. Sounds like OBT.
And I got a baseball reference in too, because I got the Moneyball David Justice thing. So I think I hit the trifecta there with it.
Need hit for the cycle, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that a baseball thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I got that one right then. All right, Mase, before we're out here, how can folks help us out on YouTube?
Like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
hit that notification bell
so that you
never
miss a vid. That's right. He's Andrew Mason. You follow him on all the socials at Mase Denver. I'm at Cecil saying OBT is a BFD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, and would you please stay frosty